Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a new hinge and a hinge set to be used on our doors in Cabinet Vision. First step will be setting up our hinge. For this we're going to be creating a new folder, and in that folder I'm going to go ahead and say I want to create a new material. When selecting new material, it's going to prompt us for a new set. So right here I'm going to say under type I want a hinge. And under name, I will be saying hinge 1, and under my description, I can make it the same. The second option then is my unit of issue, that I can give it how I want to sell the hinges. And then under type, we have concealed, double door, and exposed. For this training, we're going to be going over concealed. With a concealed hinge, if I say next, it's going to prompt me now for my hole diameters. So first off will be my cup hole, which will be 35 mm diameter, and my depth will be 13 mils. When saying next, it's going to start asking me for my spacing for my anchor holes, which I will leave on 9.5, diameter 8, depth 12, and spacing 48. Last option under this will be then what is my finished color and texture for this, but for these hinges, we can just leave it on a finished color and it'll pull through correctly. After saying finish, I can now go and further modify all of the rest of the settings for this. Primarily, under hinge, I can go and say here what is my settings and for where my hinge needs to sit on my door. My overlay, I can go and give it here what my overlay values are, as well as my door end to hinge. So where does it place up and down from the door, which I will leave for now on 55. I can also create an inset for it, as well as a maximum spacing for it to go and place another hinge if the spacing goes over that value, which I will just leave on 800 for now. Under opening angle will be my opening angle that I can go and add, as well as my door edge reference point, which I can then modify further as well as a rollout clearance if you do have a rollout internal drawer, so it'll leave a value between the hinge and the rollout clearance. In the next step, I'm going to be showing you how to create a hinge plate to work as a counterpart to the hinge. Second step, we're going to be creating the hinge plate to work hand in hand with our hinge. For this, we're going to be creating a new group or a new folder when we're going to be placing our hinge plates so that their tabs and settings don't mess with the hinges settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my folder. Again, I'm going to say new, and under type, I'm going to be saying hinge plate. For the name, I can just leave it as the name that I need it to be. And my description, I can set up how I need. When saying next, again, it's going to ask us for our unit of issue, and then under type, we'll have a frame, an inline, and a panel. For this one, I will be setting up a standard panel hinge plate. When saying next, it's going to ask us for our hole diameters, depths, and spacing for our plates. And then the last option will be giving us our colors and textures for the hinge, again where we can just give it a finished color. When the hinge plate is created, I can also still go into its ID, select the model, and there you will see your model for your hinge plate that you're going to be using. And I can also still go here and further modify the settings if needs be and the standards it created were not correct. In the next step, we are going to be creating the material schedule that will control and use these hinges and hinge plates in a job and assign them to doors. In this section, I'm going to be showing you how to set up the material schedule to use the hinge plate and hinge that we created and use the material schedule to assign it to a door. All I'm going to do is I'm going to say new there on the top left, and I'm going to give it a name. And then I can make the description and set it however I want. In the material schedule here now, you will see there is a couple of options for specified and custom hinges for items such as our 45 corner hinges, 90 corner hinges, and double door hinges with their corresponding hinge plates that the hinges need. For this, we are going to be setting up mainly just the standard hinge as well as the hinge plate. But what I can do for this one is I can go and say my hinges, I can assign my hinge as the main hinge to be applied towards all of my doors, and then my hinge plate I can go and add onto hinge plate 45 degree, 90 degree, blind, and double door, making sure that my hinge will be placed on all of my doors. If you do have and set up a specific hinge for our 45s, 90s, or double doors, as well as their corresponding plates, you can set them up here to be applied to the correct door. Step, once we created a job and we selected our hinge schedule that we just created, we can go and view how it looks inside a cabinet. For this hinge schedule we created, you'll now see that it places my hinge and my hinge plate both in correspondence correctly, as well as adding the correct machining for all of my values for my holes. With this now, if at any time you do need to modify these settings again for our holes or such, you can go back to the material that was set up and go and modify it to change how it works in the job. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.